Everybody, we are back. It is Safe to Lodge, favorite Raiders podcast, favorite Raiders channel, favorite Raiders everything. We are back. You guys already know what to do. Hit the subscribe button. Subscribe. Hit the like button if you like it. Hit dislike button if you don't like it. Leave a comment if you like it. Leave a comment if you don't like it. Also follow us on Twitter at the Mark John NFL for me, at mholder95 for Matt, and of course pandasups.com. Discount code TDL for 25% off. All right, guys. So we're back to the draft. Free agency's over already for us. It was very quick. You're not like these teams that had like 9 guys they signed. We had about 5. It's over. So we're back to the draft, and we're doing Ashton, Jeanty, and Alfred Collins today. So there's a defensive tackle and the running back who is a talk of the mock drafts all week and conversation around the Raiders and have Raiders fans at each other's necks over this debate. But I mean, there's gonna be some fights. I see some. They're brewing. We're at that point in time, Matt, where it's almost close to April in the draft, and we have set in as Raiders fans of who we want to draft. And I don't want that guy. And if you want that guy, I we got beef. So
yeah. And if history tells us anything, we'll argue about 2 people, and they'll go with the third option, right? They'll go like we'll have the Tevin Jenkins and Christian Darrisaw arguments, and then they'll come out the board or out of nowhere with like the Alex Leatherwood pick with the old Gruden reaches. So yeah, that's what I love about this time of year. You get to argue about nothing and then find out it didn't even matter whatsoever. But yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like it's gonna be T-Mac or Ashton Jeanty at the end of the draft, like Johnny Barron.
Yeah.
It's just funny, right? It's just something like that. How this works out, just because everybody's putting it with that, putting Ashton Jeanty at 6.
Yeah.
That's why I'm kind of going. I wanted to break them down today. So you did have somebody asked you a question in your mailbag. So the question was, let me pull it up. I actually got it right here, I believe.
Yeah.
Who would be players you and the Tape Don't Lie crew be okay drafting with at 6, and what players would you be upset about that's a realistic option? So your thoughts, Matt.
Yeah, I mean, so the guys that I'd like that's the thing that I kind of like about where they're at with the 6th pick is especially now that they have Geno and they don't have to get a quarterback right away, is there's not a whole lot of guys that that'd be like upset about at number 6. I think there should be plenty of options. Mason Graham being one of the guys, Will Campbell being another guy that we've broken down in the past, and Will Johnson as well too. Like, there's a lot of options that I would be like pretty happy with that they walked away with. And on top of that, like even trading back would be I think would be a pretty good strategy, considering that like we've talked about, like the bulk of this draft is in that like 20 to 60 range, where there's a lot of like good players in like the middle of it but lacks some top end talent. So there's a lot of avenues, but the one guy, and part of the reason why I wanted to bring this up on the episode, is the one guy that I'd kind of be a little disappointed with would be a guy like Jeanty.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, maybe we'll watch and I'll have my mind changed by the end of this episode, but just for me, and like, I think Jeanty has a bright future ahead of him, but I just look at him going to the Raiders with all the needs that they have and like all the other holes they have on the roster. Like, if they add him, it'd kind of be like Saquon Barkley on the Giants, where yeah, you might have this great running back, but when you have issues at the offensive line, you need a weapon on the outside. Defense can't stop anybody. You need talent on defense. Like, it's just not going to matter as much in the big picture. Like, I'm not an anti-running back in the first round, but what I am is anti-running back in the first round when you don't have a great situation around him. Mm-hmm. And I just worry that the Raiders might be in that spot with the draft picks. So that's why I'd rather see them target someone else and improve another part of the roster, or even trade back and then get up more picks. And then on top of it too, we've talked about it ad nauseum. This running back class is deep, and taking one with the top 10 pick to me kind of feels like at least right now, it feels like it'd be a little bit of a waste to not take advantage of this deep class.
Yeah. With that question for me, somebody who I really like them take a 6, probably any of the defensive players, like even, if they took like even like Jihad Campbell or something like 6, I feel like I feel a lot better than Ashton Jeanty, really? Yeah, or something like that. And just because I know the impact, they need a linebacker, and if you're going to take a linebacker without trading back, you're to take the best linebacker that in the draft. I don't know if you feel that way, Matt, because I know you do linebackers, but but you know what I'm saying, like, or not even really Jalen Walker, because I know he's so raw, but like it would have to be something like that. That I feel like a defensive player is the way to go, because that's where their holes are. I mean, they got rid of their best slot receiver, they got rid of their free safety, and they got rid of their linebacker. So they don't have a starter there really. I mean, I
Yeah.
guess Christian Ellis, Glenn keeps telling you to watch the film, Matt. He wants you to watch the film of Christian Ellis because he says it's really good.
Yeah, I'm just waiting till I've been scorned too many times by the Raiders. I'm waiting till
that final signature.
Yeah, so until pen meets paper, because what'll happen is I'll do a breakdown on them, and then like 20 minutes later, the Patriots will submit a qualifying offer.
Yeah, exactly. So, right. But even then, like they still don't have like a starting linebacker that's for the future, right? Like you get a 21-year-old or something like that in here. They don't have that. So that's the issue. And you could, like I said, you can find a running back with more depth. So, the thing of the Ashton Jeanty, and I'll talk about a little bit is, and I talked about this on the Friday Night Live show, is I want to see his athletic profile before we even think about this. Like, are we going to take a guy who's not that athletic? Like, like Jahmyr Gibbs and Bijan Robinson were athletic freaks. Saquon Barkley, athletic freak. I think he has to show that he's an athletic freak, in my opinion, to really justify the Raiders even taking him that high. So as of right now, like, and I don't know that's why I'll be like, I wouldn't do it. But if he ends up being an athletic freak, and I just like he's 3 cones crazy, he's like super projected, his RAS is like 9.9 something. It might be not too much of a reach for me. That's when it gets. That's what I want to know. I like. Yeah. So with Ashton Jeanty, I just want to see what his athletic profile is before I even commit to taking him at 6, because I think that's a big part of it. Like if you're not an athletic freak, man, I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to deal with it also.
And I think like on that too, like you bring up his 3 cone, like I think his 40 time would be kind of significant too, which normally isn't like that big of a deal with the running back. But I think one of the questions with him is his breakaway speed. Like I know we had plenty of clips like last year of running away from defenders, but when you're doing it out of smaller conference, there is like a little bit of a question of like the level of competition. Mm-hmm. But if he can come out and run a sub 4.5 or a good 40 time or something like that, then obviously it takes that off the equation. So that was one thing I was curious about, and maybe you'll touch on this too when we get into the film, is like, what do you think his long speed is? Like, can he be like that home run hitter, or is he more of like a guy that kind of just ran away from, a bunch of defenders that are going to be accountants and salesmen next week or next year season?
So I think it goes 2 ways with this. I think he actually is really fast. I think I was wrong about Caleb Johnson though, so sometimes I've been questioning my eyes of speed ever since Caleb Johnson. And everybody's like, Marcus, how did you not see that? And I was like, I guess I need to go figure out speed on tape. I've been thinking about that since people said that to me. It's good feedback. I need to go make sure I can check speed. But I mean, when you watch him, I got the run against Oregon where he scored a touchdown. Right. And you watch him just run away from people like that. And he's just running away from those guys. And this is Oregon. This is not like, because the Oregon game is so weird to watch because they kind of were kicking his ass, but kicking the line's ass. But that, like, he just had a couple runs where the line won and he took advantage of it. But at that point in time, he was able to just outrun that whole defense. And that's why I think he's a really fast player. I think like if he runs like a 4.45, something in that area, I kind of see it that way, in my opinion. I think running backs have a lot more play speed, in my opinion, than a lot of them do than pure speed. So I think like he runs like a 4.45, somewhere around there. I think that would be a good time for him. But you're right. Like I said, if he runs like a 4.53, you know what I mean? Like, what do we going to say? You go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, that's not like a bad time, but like it just kind of makes you like pause for a second of like, okay, maybe he doesn't quite have the breakaway speed, because when we're talking about top 10 running backs, when we're talking about top 5 running backs, I don't remember what Bijan ran, and I don't know if Saquon ran, but like both those dudes could fly. Right?
4.4. Like they both ran. I think Bijan ran a 4.4. Saquon Barkley ran a 4.4 at 233 pounds. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
that's top. That's a running back top 5, right? You know what I mean? Like,
and that's the thing. Like, yes, those are 2 like elite backs, but when you're talking about being breaking the mold of not only being like a premium pick for a running back as like a first round pick, but a top 10 at that, like that's the competition like you're looking against, and that's like the type of value you're hoping for. Mm-hmm. And I think with Jeanty too, like he already doesn't meet it like size wise, right? Like you're talking about Saquon Barkley running a 4.4 at 230, like that's part of what makes him. Like you go back and be like, yeah, you were worth the second pick because you were huge and massive and could run and like fit all the physical profiles and everything. Like you checked every box. Whereas with Jeanty, he just doesn't check it physically right now, and obviously that's not gonna change. So that's I think part of the question of like when we're talking about is this guy that much of a game changing back that you take him top 10? You want to see those numbers too, and how those stack up to other guys that were in that position.
Yeah, because like Omarion Hampton has more of the profile of like a Saquon Barkley than he does. You know what I mean? Like, and that's the type of guy you take in the top 5. Because, because I was looking this up, like just trying to compare, and I didn't know Saquon Barkley was 6 foot. He does not look 6 foot. Right, but he's 6 foot too. He's 6 foot, 233 pounds with a 41-inch vertical and ran a 4.4. Like that is, you know what I mean? Like it's not always just like the film, I guess. And you know, we talk about Jeanty a lot because I'm ready to cover him, but it's just also what Damian was telling me at the Senior Bowl. We have those conversations about why he has Hampton and him close, and he basically had me seeing that on film, which is like the jump cuts and stuff are just not there. He's a little stiff in the hips too, so it makes you a little bit worried about does he have that athleticism to be a great running back in the NFL? I mean, I honestly I think he will be a good to great running back, but like the generational people call him LT. Just like LT ran a 4.4 at 220 something pounds. Like the comparisons that people are putting out there, we have to have the athletic profile first before we put these comparisons out there.
You're almost doing Jeanty a disjustice by comparing him to such like these guys. Like then it's like even if he becomes like a good running back, like it's like, oh, he's a bust because he wasn't the next LT who's a top 5 running back of all time probably.
31 touchdowns in a season. You know what I mean?
Good throw too.
All right, but the last guy in today's discussion is Alfred Collins from Texas. He's the defensive tackle out of Texas. What are your thoughts on him, Matt?
Yeah, so I mean, Alfred Collins is kind of like I've talked about him a ton on here, which is part of the reason why I wanted to do him when we're getting back to the draft stuff. Because again, I've been chatting him, or I've been hyping him up for a while. I figured I'd give people what they were hoping for. He's a guy that again is going to impact the ground game. We're focusing on the rushing attack just on each side of the ball today, but I think a big part of him is he's a little bit of a projection where I think he can play nose, but he didn't play it a ton at Texas. Like a lot of the clips that we're going to watch are going to be of him playing like as a 4-eye technique, as like a more of a defensive end, which I don't think is his. I don't think anyone views him as being that in the NFL. But I think he can move inside, and I think part of the reason why I like that is one, he's good at taking on double teams. Had most of the ones he took on last year were against tight ends and tackles, and rather than like a guard and a center. But what I think gives me a little bit more hope is that he came into the combine and weighed in at like 330 pounds, which is perfect for playing at the nose tackle. I mean, I don't think it was bad weight either because he looked pretty good in the workouts too. I know he wasn't super explosive in the vertical, which was the only test he did, but just in the position specific drills, it wasn't looking like he was like out of shape or anything like that, and like couldn't get through it with the extra weight. So again, we're going to be a little bit of projection, but a dude that is basically just a bull in the trenches and strong as hell, strong as an ox, and can take on one-on-one blocks and eat double teams and even make some plays off doubles too. So again, one guy that I'm really excited to watch, probably going to be closer to like the late second, early third round type of categories. But for what the Raiders need right now, which is a gap filling nose, like I think he could be a guy that potentially could come in and start right away for you.
NFC personnel director said he's a legit specimen. With the right coaching, he could end up taking off and becoming the best interior player in this class.
Ooh, damn. Even higher than I am on him. So
you're that.
And he's got
guy. Raiders better watch out for him because he likes him some Alfred Collins.
Damn, that's impressive. But
it is what the Raiders need. The Raiders need that defensive tackle that's good. Just a monster. I was looking at his measurables, like 34-inch, almost 35-inch arms. 6'6", 332 pounds, 10-inch hands, and so that he's a monster. So exactly what the Raiders need inside, because I mean that's what they're missing. Like this, because to get like a Kenneth Grant, right? You have to trade back. Thing. You can't take Kenneth Grant at 6, which I mean those are the type of shocking things that were argued about. Ashton Jeanty to take Kenneth Grant or Mason Graham.
I thought of that too. Like someone asked me that question. I'm like, would be the thing. Like Mason Graham's on the board, and like they take a Michigan defensive tackle, but not the one we think. It's going to end up being Kenneth Grant, which I like Kenneth Grant, but at 6 would be a little rich.
You know, it is. That's what these deep conversations that people are having these emotional debates about. It's just funny. But yeah, getting a guy like this in the third round, I mean, that'd be perfect. Because I mean, it's what the Raiders need, and like I said, this has to be a defensive draft. Like I want running backs, and I know people want wide receivers and stuff like that. But
Yeah,
they're gonna go young on defense, and that's what Pete Carroll does. He's always done it, and they're gonna put some young guys. They got like 3 6-round picks too. I'm sure they're gonna take like some bunch of 6-round corners that like have 38-inch arms. And
they have no idea how to play, but they just check every physical box, basically.
Yeah, they could play press coverage. So I know that's gonna happen here. It's just the way it is, man. It's just the way it is. But we'll see. We'll see how this draft goes, man. It's gonna be super interesting because everything's just so up in the air, and they have holes in areas that won't get fans excited. Let's say that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I love a good nose tackle, but no one's like clamoring about the nose tackles. Most people aren't clamoring about the nose tackle.
Only watchers of our show are clamoring about a nose tackle.
Exactly. Yeah. People want to care about the fantasy football position, and that's it. But yeah,
exactly.
It's a lot of the unsexy stuff that's going to be this year's draft. It feels like. I feel like you're right.
Yeah. It's gonna be linebackers and safeties. Yeah, it's not very sexy. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
All right. Let's do Jeanty first. All right. So what I did with Jeanty is I kind of went power and zone. I kind of mixed it up. I think he is just better fit going downhill. All right, like going outside, like on a sweep, you can see he does well, but like running like outside zone, I'm kind of getting to that. The wide zone wide is an interesting fit for him. All right, well, let's start off with some power here. So what I like with power too is he does a good job of setting up his blocks, so you kind of could see it. Slow motion here. Does a good job of setting up these blocks and knowing where he wants to go while he's setting it up. So he wants to come outside this whole time of this setup with his little power with the little guard pull in there. See him get outside. So I love his vision. That's the best thing about him is his vision. He rarely misses a hole. Rarely. Like maybe sometimes you feel like maybe he could press a little bit something there, but nothing crazy that I'm going to point out that he's missing anything. So you just see he knows he wants to go outside. He sets it up that way. He's able to get around the corner there. Make a play there. All right, here he's against Penn State. Running some counter here on this one. So what I like about this one too is, like I said, he's patient, and he has great upfield burst too. So that's one thing. He accelerates very quickly. He's able to stay patient, set it up, and accelerate, and then get to the second level. Make a few guys miss there. And one thing you notice about like when he's playing a team like Penn State and like Oregon, they do tackle him a lot easier than these other teams do. So like I mean he's still breaking a lot of tackles, but I'll show you later. But like he's not like he's playing San Jose State. You know what I mean? Number 6 and number 29 are getting ran over, and he's still running. But the vision is just I pointed out the vision and the patience that he has to run power. Like he is designed for a power back. Like this is Josh McDaniels' dream right here. The Patriots might take him at 3. You better watch out at 4. You better watch out, guys. All right, here's another one. So this is some duo here. And like I said, a little bit more like a draw on this one, but still the vision that he has, he does a great job of just seeing exactly where the hole is right away. He knows I got to go right here, right away, right? And then he's able to see that, okay, I got a cut back lane right here. I can cut back inside. You could make the case he could keep going forward maybe, but there's just not a lot of room there. There's more room inside here. I can get to that second level. Boom. And like I said, it's just when he plays the bigger competition, there's not as many broken tackles. That's one thing you'll notice. But he still does it because there's a play I'm going to show later on that it's kind of crazy. But he's always moving forward, though. He's a big back.
Set up Bossa well.
Yeah. He does that really well. That's something he does. He does great eye manipulation, too. All right, here's another one. A little power run here. And like I said, Matt pointed out the eye manipulation that he does really well. You can see where number 7 is going here. Number 7 is all the way over here. He's able to set up these blocks really easily. He can get upfield quickly. Like I said, UNLV they just had a little bit extra time, a little harder time taking him down than Oregon. You know what I mean? Bust that tackle there, break through those. He has holding on to dear life by his leg. But the vision in the upfield burst is something he does really well. And it's why he's fit for power, because if you just get him going downhill, playing behind his pads, he's hard to take down no matter what. Like he's feels like one of those guys that he would wear on you throughout the game. All right, so here is some more duo here on this one. And this is what I love about this run too. Like, we see a lot of guys as Raiders fans lately who kind of, he's trying to set up the hole here. He's trying to, kind of get this linebacker able to set that up, right? But he has the safety coming down here. And that's where he's supposed to go, though, right? And what I love about this is just tackle me, dog. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I was gonna say UNLV's got this plugged up pretty well, but when the running back runs through the safety's face, that kind of throws everything else out the window. The run fit doesn't quite work when you get trucked.
You just trucked him. It's just, but I love this because this is the type of player he is, right? He is gonna truck your ass. Like, he does not care, right? And he kind of reminds me of Marshawn Lynch a little bit, in my opinion. And I'm sure there's one play where I'm like, does Marshawn? So here is one of his long runs here. What I love about this run is just the eye manipulation again. It says he has these guys. Look where his eyes are, right? His eyes are completely. He's been running outside all game, so his eyes are completely outside. Both of number 1 here and number 7 is going to crash to the outside here. Boom. So that allows 81. But he knows this whole time. He knew he was going to cut back inside here. This is a duo run again, right?
Yeah.
So he sets it up, and he's able to cut back inside there, and then take it to the house.
It feels like.
Go ahead.
It feels like in the backfield, like he's always thinking about like his next move. You know what I mean? Like he's like the I'm playing chess while y'all are playing checkers type of deal. Like the hole is open, but he's going to set it up first and like give himself that extra more room on the second level and set that run up to make it even better.
Yeah, and he's off to the races. He's gone. And let's talk about his long speed. Like he just because the guy's a good angle on him. He just outruns him. I don't know how fast that guy is though, but
yeah,
that too. it's not the SEC, right? All right. So here we go. Now this is interesting because this is like duo split zone. It's like weird, but anyways, this kind of shows his ability just to make guys miss in the hole. Like they 91. I don't know who 91 is. Is he coming out? I don't know, Matt. Is he?
No, I don't think so, or at least not.
Well, he was a monster this game against Boise. Gotcha. But you see, he has that ability just to make guys miss here. He's got a free opening. He had to make that guy miss himself, and he's able to cut back. And talk about him kind of jumping gaps with his cuts. But like the point that Damian was making is this right here, because once you get here, he's kind of still in the same gap when he's doing that. It's not like a whole jump cut. It's just it's picky, but
yeah,
he has a point though. When it comes to being an NFL running back, you'll see a little bit. I'll show a little bit more of the stiffness later too, as well here. But all right, here's another one. Dude, you're getting the zone here. We're getting the zone here. So we got a little wide zone. So you just look at his zone runs here. Outside zone. Now, here we go once again. So this Boise State offensive line is not good. First of all, let's talk about that too. Like, this dude's getting blown up. He can't even get this reach block here. But Jeanty does a good job of just making that guy miss in the hole. And this is like my Marshawn Lynch comparison, because like this pose right here, I was like, that's Marshawn Lynch. This whole run is just like the the balance, like the look, the hop step. But yeah, I mean, you see him kind of just cut back, make some yards for himself there. So he can create it by himself in an open field here. So now we're getting a little outside zone toss on this one. A little crack back, more like a pin pull on this one though. But and see here, like even here when he's cutting back inside, you kind of see this a little bit stiff in the hips there, right?
Yeah.
And if you're playing better competition, it's like this number 8, is he more athletic? Is he able to stop and make that tackle on you? That type of thing. But you see that, I mean, he does have good bursts, and it's the vision too. I mean, all of it anyways is the vision. He sees the cutback. He sees this guy going over pursuing, and he knows I can cut back here and get some more yards there. So the vision in the patience is and his upfield bursts are, I mean, if you're scouting him, you're giving those some really high grades there.
Yeah.
All right, so here's another run, which is some outside zone. Like I said, like Derek Harmon and this number 90, they took over this film. But he breaks that tackle, and then he takes on, Bossa and Harmon. These are two guys, right? That they're about to play in the NFL. Oh, he bounces off of both those guys. So this is just like how much of a bowling ball he is. He's able to get upfield. And then you can kind of see the speed more in this game. Boom. He's able to break these two tackles. Boom. And then you can kind of see the burst and the speed of him kind of be able to get upfield too as well.
What's nice about that clip, and I will say, I think Harmon kind of screwed over my guy Bossa there a little bit too. Like help Jeanty miss the tackle here. But I mean, Caldwell is going to be a draft pick. Boss is going to be a pick. And Harmon's going to be a pick. So there's 3 NFL talents on one play. Again, I think Harmon kind of helped him break that tackle, but still.
100%. All right, so here's some inside zone. And this is what I'm talking about, the vision here that he has, because he goes completely outside. I mean, outside zone, you're going to completely to like the C gap there on the other side. Like you're going from the weak side to the strong side, C gap. Weak side, A gap, strong.
E gap.
Yeah. And that's not normal, but you see his vision. He sees it though. You see where he sees.
Yeah.
He sees everybody flowing this way. My opening's over there. That's where I'm gonna get my yards. Play behind his pass there. Move forward. It works out. So here's his long touchdown here. Like, and this is what I'm talking about, him wearing on teams, because like Oregon was playing him pretty well in this game. Like I've showed a couple of Oregon runs, but they're playing him pretty well, like up until this point. And this is like the 4th quarter, I believe. And him just wearing on people, him working on those tackles. But here he is once again using his eyes. He has 0 going this way. He's holding this linebacker here, and 0's coming down. They all think he's going to come outside, especially with the split zone action they got here, right? But nope, he set it up again, and he cuts back inside, knowing that hole is. And then there he goes.
Yeah, I think this is the clip where you get encouraging with his long speed, because he's straight up just running away from all of Oregon's defenders.
Yeah. He is.
I mean, 5 has a chance to at least bring him down. It doesn't even come close.
Exactly. That's what I'm talking about, the speed that he does have. So that's why you see like a 4.4 speed there. But yeah, if he runs like a 4.5, that's like that's literally a death wish, I think, in my opinion. Not just for him going top 10, but all right. And this is a good one that kind of shows you get another kind of split zone action here. And it's another one just seeing the vision here. He just sees the opening right there on the opposite side right away. He gets upfield. But this is what I'm talking about, like him against better competition and breaking tackles. Like right here, you're thinking like against like UNLV, he's breaking his tackle, San Jose State, whatever he used to play in the Mountain West. But like 29, boop, takes him out. You know what I mean? Like, so he breaks tackles, but it's just not as impressive against better competition. That's just basically what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
And like and you can really see the speed on this run too. So I show this one kind of full speed, so you can kind of see it and just how quickly he gets upfield there. You can see the burst right there. And he's just hard to take down, man. I mean, be fair, UNLV, they did a lot better than the other guys. And this was 62. Look at that. Boom, with the pancake right there. 62, just catching some slabs, I see. Look at that. In the red zone, You're like this is just the power he has right here when he's just taking 3 guys into the end zone with him. Boom, boom. So there is a lot to like, man. I mean, he is to me, he is a first round running back. It's just, is he a top 10 running back? Is the real question. Like if the Raiders traded back to like 15 or something, it took him to be like, hey, that's cool draft pick. But that's why I want to see the athletic profile before I like even get into a debate with somebody about it. But like, let's talk about him cutting back a little bit. Just a little bit why I feel like he's not really an outside zone guy, because he just, when he has to have pure cuts, it just gets a little funky. So like this one, you can kind of see it. You know, he's not able to fully jump cut here. I'll watch it. Like it's just really kind of stiff with that movement, and that's why you worry about him a little bit athletically, because I mean that hole's there. I mean, you know, we watch Raheem Mostert do this. Raheem Mostert sees this. He's a shoot, right, with that one cut, and that's why I think he's more fit for like a power. Like if you draft him, you want to run more gap runs or like inside zone, keep him going forward, where he's able to not have to play outside zone as much. And then you kind of see it on this one. I think this is supposed to be outside zone, but for some reason, I tell you, not these guys. I don't know what happened here, but they're all messed up. I think this guy had an inside zone call, and everybody else is doing outside zone. But the purpose of this run, which just ended up being a 10-yard run, which is crazy. But what I'm talking about is the ability to kind of jump cut, and you kind of see it here. It's just a little bit stiff. He kind of just he's not able to cut like you'd want him to. But he still drags these guys and breaks those tackles, and then drags these guys and breaks that one and takes it for 10 yards. So yeah, it's not a great cut, you know what I mean? But you'll take that 12-yard run though. You know what I mean? Like just slipping off him. Look at that. Just boom, it's bouncing off him, bro. It's just feels like this is the perfect play. Like you saw a flaw, but then you saw why you might not care at the same time. And then as a pass catcher, it's pretty basic. I think he has good hands though. He's not really not to run too many routes there. You kind of just got these little flat routes here. Catch him in the flat, make a guy boom, it's hard to tackle. Nobody really tackles him on that play. This is an interesting one because, it kind of showed that maybe he could do more as wide receiver. He doesn't end up catching this pass, but it's just like him getting that high. And this is what I'm talking about. Maybe he is an athletic freak because he gets pretty high here on that one for being 5'8".
Damn.
I don't know who 26 is, Matt. Who's 26 on Oregon? Who's that?
I forget. I don't remember the name specifically. I think it might be one of their other linebackers.
Oh man, he's really good.
Gotcha.
He stuck the hell out of Jeanty in the hole one time. I was like, oh my god. And then he's here playing coverage like this. But yeah, you just kind of see his vertical ability right there, kind of get up and trying to get this pass, but he ends up dropping him because his linebacker makes a great play. But yeah, I don't know who that guy is, man, but he's a stud. Anyways, like I said, his little throws to the flat here, get him in space. He is not easy to tackle. I mean, it doesn't matter what team he's playing. You obviously could see that. And like this one kind of shows off his hands a little bit, but also kind of shows what I'm talking about him being a little stiff. Get the hands, boom, hands there, but then he's not able to kind of cut and make that guy miss.
Yeah. That's where I feel like the Marshawn comparison kind of falls apart because Marshawn could jump cut. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right about that. It's just me with the dreads here, I guess. But and he blocks pretty well too. He blocks pretty well. I mean, he's not the greatest blocker in the world. I mean, he's not like Ollie Gordon or something like that. But like, he gets the job done. Like this one, he kind of whiffs a little bit. Could have called that a hold, maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
But I like this one too. Go ahead.
I was gonna say he's like, I like that he's like willing, but his technique is bad. Like you see how he kind of just lunges there and like gets it. He uses his head more than his hands.
Yeah, you kind of see the same thing here though too. Like,
like I love the effort, but like let's think a little bit about some self-preservation here.
Because there's one play. I was talking about 26, where 26 is blitzing and just trucks him, runs him over.
Just runs him over.
Go ahead.
Yeah, and that's part of not being like the biggest dude in the world. Like you're gonna get susceptible to being that, and especially when you want to just try and like straight headbutt guys. Like, although I think Scatabo kind of has that same problem. I saw, I think it was Matt Wall,
Yeah.
pointing that out, where Scatabo will literally like jump and headbutt dudes, and Jeanty kind of does the same type of thing where, like at some point you're gonna give yourself a concussion just doing that, especially going up against NFL defenders. So
yeah,
for sure. And I know you kind of touched on it a little bit, like in Boise State's offense, they didn't ask him to do much, but like in the passing game, like how much of a factor do you think he can be there with factoring in protection and catching the ball at the backfield?
So, I think with protection, I think it's decent enough where Mikey's not a liability. It's kind of like how Josh Jacobs used to pass protect. Like Josh Jacobs is so inconsistent. Like one block he'd destroy somebody, the next block he'd miss it, and then he might destroy somebody or make a great block, and then he might miss the next one. And I think he's kind of like that a little bit. As a pass catcher, I think he has great hands. I think he does have excellent hands. You don't see him run routes though, so I don't know with the choice routes and those things would work. But he does have great hands, and I think that kind of showed on that screen. That wasn't a great pass, but he's able to snag that pure hand catch and things like that. But I think he does have that ability to be a receiver in the backfield and have some good hands and, kind of get him out in the slot and kind of get him out in space a little bit. But yeah, I could see him being a third down back. It's just not going to be like the most excellent pass blocking guy in the world. You know what I mean? Because he wasn't wrong. Like you could tell he was able to pick up the blitzes and knew where they were coming from. He wasn't wrong in that aspect. It's just a technique. I mean, you probably coached that up a little bit. So
yeah. By the way, Wednesday, March 26th, Boise State's Pro Day. So we'll keep some eyes on that one. But and I think kind of what you're talking about too, like Boise State's offense, one, they didn't have like great quarterback play, and two, when you have a guy that's about to break Barry Sanders' record rushing the ball, you're not exactly gonna have a huge passing game involved for him because he already had 350 touches or whatever it was this past season. So you don't need to wear him out even more by throwing it to him. So I think too at the Pro Day, not only would it be nice to see what his profile is, which is going to be the biggest takeaway, but hopefully too, get to see him like catch the ball and run some routes and that kind of stuff and see what he can do with that space, because it's not that he can't do it. It's just that we didn't really see it that much this past year at Boise because of the way their offense operated and the way he just dominated running the ball. So
yeah,
interesting.
Yeah. What were your thoughts on the film, Matt?
I mean, I like it. I think it like I said, I think there's a lot of things that like he does really well that I think he can be a good back. Like the vision is one of the best I've seen in a while. Like the vision is up there as elite. Like I was talking about, the way he kind of plays, the way he plays 3D chess to set guys up before he's even like crossed the line of scrimmage is pretty impressive. And I think that speaks to his football IQ and how smart of a player he is. And on top of it, I think with him, like the way he does that and the way it's so natural to me, like I feel like that's him recognizing what's going on pre-snap a little bit. Like we talked about this before, of like him standing up. Part of the reason why I think he plays in that upright stance is he's not the tallest guy in the world, so he wants to see and he wants to read it. But what I like is he's actually like taking in what he's seeing and processing it well, and for the most part being right more than he's wrong. So I think that's one of the things that's really impressive and that really stands out about that tape is like mentally, like you can tell he's all there as a running back and knows what his assignment is, knows how to set people up, and knows where the hole is kind of where it's going to be, where the opening is going to be. So it's impressive tape. Definitely makes me feel better about it. Like I think if the Raiders got Jeanty, they'd have a good running back. Is where I'm at. It's just a matter of, do you really want to spend a top 10 pick on Jeanty? Is he worth that? And I don't have an answer for you in either direction right now. It's just, for me right now, without knowing the profile, I'd lean towards no at that stage. Like, I just don't see him. Yeah, I just don't see him as like the game changer that a lot of people are expecting or going to want him to be when you take the top 10 pick. So
yeah, that's my thing. I think he's a first round running back, but it's more like, I have to have the athletic profile to kind of get an idea of exactly where he should be slotted at. In my opinion, like I think he has really good tape, and he's obviously a really good player. Like I think like the LT and stuff like that is just a little crazy. I think that stuff is wild. I don't know where's that come from. It has to come from Mel Kiper. Only Mel Kiper would say something like that. So.
If I think we're part of it is like LT, like TCU obviously now is like a Big 12 program and been there for a while. But like if you remember, like LT when TCU was there, were they in the Mountain West or were they in like the WAC back then, like whatever? So like the smaller profile running back from a smaller school who could be a top 5 pick or top 10 pick, I think is where you get that a little bit. But yeah, the other thing that kind of concerned me too is, and we talked about it a little bit, the jump cuts, just like the one you showed against, I think it was Penn State, where he just like cut back and like he did, or it might have been actually, no, sorry, it was UNLV. We did a great job of making the safety miss and like kind of using the safety's momentum against him. But like, if you go back and watch it, like he doesn't really gain any ground laterally that much. Yeah. And I think when you go against NFL defenders and NFL guys that are better at breaking down and not over pursuing, like that's going to be kind of the difference, where it's like you can make the right read, but you also have to be able to be athletic enough to be able to cover ground laterally to make that guy actually miss and make that translate. So that's where I get a little bit concerned with him. And on top of that too, if you're not that shifty and we're already concerned about your workload and you're going to be taking more hits in the NFL, like now I start getting real concerned about your shelf life. So yeah. That's the other factor to consider too, because ideally with the top 10 pick, that's the second contract guy for you. With any of these picks, I mean, that's the ideal situation, but especially in the top 10, you want that guy to be like, when the time comes, like not even thinking about it, you're going to give him that second contract.
Like third year, after the third year type stuff.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right, man. All right, cool. Let's get into some Alfred Collins here.
So, all right. So I'm going to start with a few of the double teams. Again, we're going to see a lot of Collins playing these 4-eye techniques. So you got to use your imagination a little bit here and just kind of project him at nose, but again, gain some weight. I think he can be able to make the transition. Like you'll see on this rep, he doesn't quite make the tackle here. And obviously we're taking on a tackle and a tight end, but you can see like the power at the point of attack. I mean, him being 6'6", like you see his helmet right here. Like, I mean, we're a full head underneath the offensive tackle and just stays in his gap. And on top of it too, part of him being so physical is on this combo block. When this tackle starts to climb up to the backer, he doesn't get off clean, which helps the backer kind of come off and make the play. So even though Collins doesn't finish this and make the tackle, it's still a tackle for short gain because he caused some disruption up front and helped allow that linebacker to break free from that block. Again, same kind of thing here against Georgia. Oops. Playing over the 7-tech over the line, over the tight end and taking on the block, but you can see like the same thing, just barely even moves from his gap. So be a little bit different on the inside, but at the very least, like the fact that you can see this from him in that regard is pretty encouraging. This time does take on 2 offensive linemen, and I know get a little bit of vertical displacement here. What I like to see from him is that, like, yes, we might lose some ground, which is going to happen every now and again when we're taking on offensive linemen, but he stays in the gap, right? Like we have not moved left or right. We might have given up some ground vertically, but we're still at least in our responsibility. And on top of it too, like I like how he gets skinny here. He's able to split that double team and then go make that play. Get a little bit of miscommunication here from the guard, the center and the guard, but still in a position to be able to go in and factor into the play and go get a TFL on that one.
Texas is so well coached, man. It's just crazy.
Dude, their D-line has been nuts. I mean, they're about to have like 6 picks in the last 3 years. It's crazy. Now, this time we don't have to use our imagination as much. Play a little shade nose here on the center. I believe this was the 3rd down package for Texas last year and then this obviously being in the playoff game against Clemson. But yeah, what I like about this one too is like he's 2-gapping. Like you're going to see him step to the center and get square on the center. And again, not losing any ground this time against the combo block. And what I like too is like he recognizes the play, like he feels the guard coming to working towards him and sees the running back going this way. So he's going to show color in this A gap, and that's going to get the running back to cut inside. And because he's kind of dictating the play and dictating where the running back is going, he's able to cross the center's face and then go make the tackle. And on top of it too, I mean, just the strength and the power at the point of attack to win and beat the center at the line of scrimmage. Like at no point did the center have control of this block. That was all Collins. So there's your more encouraging rep for him playing nose. Now, solo blocks, this one actually technically was a little bit of a combo here. You get the chip here from Loveland. But again, like the power and the strength at the point of attack, being 6'6", winning the leverage battle, tight hands, like you can see, like this Michigan right tackle's got pretty good hand placement, right? Like he's got his elbows flying out, but Collins is just better, and then wins and escapes and factors into the play. Going up against Georgia again, one-on-one blocks. He's going to eat those up and win damn near every single time because he's that damn strong with those long ass arms. Again, here, backside of that zone run, just too easy.
Yeah, he's strong as hell. Lord.
You timed that up perfectly. As soon as you started saying that, I'm like, you're going to love this one even more. I mean, there's stacking shed, and then there's telling the guy to eat turf. This is eating turf.
Oh my God.
So I'm talking, man, like you can't one-on-one block this guy. That's where part of the reason why I think he can be a good nose. He's so damn strong and can win at the point of attack that will beat you up, man. And again, this time obviously playing at the end. What I like this is a little bit where his athleticism stands out because he's going to attack the C gap. Does a great job here. Again, getting extension using those long arms, great hand placement too, and beating the block. So then when this running back goes into the B gap, it's where you can just shed the block. It doesn't get a clean shed on this one, maybe a little bit of a hold, but enough that he can get off and go factor into the play. Again, this time going up against a little inside zone, it looks like. On the backside, can't be soft when you're blocking Collins, that's for sure.
Man, he just moves so quick for 330 pounds. I mean, he moves like he's 300.
Yeah. That is the nice thing. Yeah. Got some upside too, like you said, like got some movement skills for his size and what he can do. Again, kind of taking advantage of an offensive lineman being soft here, but like you can see just the strength. What I'm talking about was just strong as an ox. Like gets his hands on the chest, sheds no problem. Go get the TFL. Now as a pass rusher, like he doesn't offer a whole lot in that department, but he can occasionally contribute. And one thing that he is pretty good at is batting passes. Like you're going to see him here, like kind of slant into the A gap and then just beat the center across the center's face. And then right here, get a piece of the ball, end up getting the incompletion here. And that was going to be a first down if he didn't get involved in that one. Another one here too. Same kind of thing. Just get his hands up. Barely gets this piece of this one, but you can see right here. Gets that enough. Ends up making the ball kind of duck here for Loveland. Ends up being an incompletion. Would be a touchdown if it wasn't. A little slow rush on this one. Again, what I like too is like he recognizes like once Beck starts to leave the pocket, now he can go get a free rush and go get pressure. So not like a huge guy that's going to make a ton of moves to beat people with as a pass rusher, but he's smart and gets his hands up to get these batted passes. I think is that Sorrell. Come on, bro, finish that. This is your dream.
Take that for a touchdown, bro. Good Lord.
Again, I mean, we got like 6 or 7 clips of him just batting passes. One more here.
Good Lord. Is he a block field goals? Does he block field goals too?
I don't know specifically. Did he get that one? That might have actually been more on the linebacker, but still, you can see it. And then to show you a little bit of the potential, again, just a couple pass rush moves. Nice little long arm here. Again, this is not where you want him. You don't want him playing on the edge. You don't want him playing as a 4 technique in the NFL. But what I do like is that's a pretty damn good long arm move where he can put those nearly 35-inch arms to good use. Like you can see, like this is a vulnerable position if you're the offensive tackle.
That's an impressive rep at 330 pounds. Like you don't want to play him out there, but that's an impressive rep.
I think he was 315 during the season.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he put on weight. But again, nice little push pull move here. This is where I think he can make his money as a pass rusher using his strength.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you see, just pull the outside shoulder down. Boom. Use his strength and length. Go get involved in the play. So again, the guy I comped him to, is Grover Stewart, who, if you watch Grover Stewart's game, like where he makes his money, is he's a really good run defender, and then he'll kind of occasionally kind of contribute and win every now and again as a pass rusher. I think Stewart's actually pretty good at batting passes too.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I think Collins can be at, is like he's your guy where like he's in the game to plug up gaps and eat up space in the running game. But every now and again, he can give you a little something as a pass rusher too. And a little bit of a projection at nose, but I think you can get away with him. And I think he can fill that John Jenkins role where he can play that kind of like shade nose that the Raiders like. And as we saw, like if you leave him one-on-one blocks, he's going to beat that damn near every time. So.
Yeah, I like that film. I really did. I enjoyed that. I thought that, you could see how he's probably a little bit more athletic than you like, and I also like that he can play the run well. And I like DTs, especially when they're coming out. Because you're not supposed to get like a whole bunch of pass rush from DTs. I think people overrate that. I mean, you get 5 sacks, 6 sacks from your defense tackle is actually really good. And the best in the league, they're getting the 10s and 11s, right? The elite players. But he looks like he has some upside there where, like, if you could develop him, he could develop some pass rush, and he could actually start to make some noise, later on in his career, and have one of those seasons where he's getting 6 or 7 sacks and things like that. So that's what I really liked about it. And, it's an underrated thing. Like when you're looking at some of these defense tackles, they might not be a finished product right now as a pass rusher, but you kind of want to project, can they become a pass rusher in the NFL where there's more passing, more opportunities for them to do that. So, but yeah. I did like that film. I enjoyed it. He's just a monster, dude. He's just throwing people around and having great technique. And Texas boys is coached up well, man. Because them DBs over there, man, I don't know. They are coached well on defense for sure.
Yeah, I don't know what Sark did, but all of a sudden he just like he went from like Texas went from being like kind of like irrelevant and like one of those schools like where you're like, man, all they have is their history, to all of a sudden just being a factory for NFL guys, especially at defensive tackle. Like, I was thinking about it. Like 3 years ago, they had Andre Coburn and Moro Ojimo get drafted, 2 defense tackles. Last year it was Byron Murphy, who was a first-round pick, Sweat, who was a second-round pick. This year, Collins is probably gonna be a second or third-round pick, and Vernon Broughton's, he's probably gonna be a later-round guy, but he's another dude that's freaky, that's gonna get drafted too. So that dude's got 35-inch arms too, and they're all just like athletic monsters. It's weird how Texas has done it. And then
the secondary, Makuba and Jay Barron, like, I don't know. He's doing some recruiting over there. The NIL is working out for him. He's not complaining. He's not like Nick Saban had to get out. He likes it. All right. Any last thoughts on Alfred Collins?
I mean, again, draft the guy, put him at nose, and benefit, man. I really do. He really is one of these guys that I'm very high on. I think he's going to be a great pro no matter where he goes. But get yourself some run defense help, and he'll be he'll boost you for real.
Yeah, I think so too. All right, guys. So that's the episode. So Ashton Jeanty and Alfred Collins. And I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I got Ashton Jeanty versus Oregon up for the members, so go ahead and check that out if you haven't checked that as well. And then you do the Friday Night Live and all the other draft stuff and free agency videos that we got that will not be dead until August. So make sure you go check those out. We'll be back. Probably on Wednesday with some more draft. I don't know who I'm going to do, but we'll figure that out. So subscribe button, subscribe right here. Peace.